Hey, I'm Warren Jones, and welcome to my garden. This is bull thistle. It's my nemesis. I once a week or two come out here and go through the garden and pull it up and try to kill it. Actually, a year ago I decided I'm not killing anything anymore. So we have sort of this relationship. I do what I can to act like I'm killing it, but in truth it knows I am not doing a thing. Because the way bull thistle works is it's about 7 feet long roots under what I'm pulling up here. So no matter how deep I dig with this, it's not coming up. But the bull thistle is, it's bad here because this isn't its natural habitat. Probably from Europe this variety came, and I think I bought some cheap wood chips a few years back, and that's how it got here. And ever since then I've been battling it. When plants come out of their natural habitat and go into a place here where they don't have natural predators, they become invasive, out of control. So if I don't pull up the bull thistle, it will take over everything, my shrubs. It'll stop even the grasses from growing because it's pretty sturdy here. So to keep the place in balance and to correct the problem I created by bringing this species that is from another place, I have to do something. I come in and I help out. I help maintain the balance of my small little plot here. Now, just because I said this bull thistle is invasive doesn't mean that this doesn't have a purpose in this world. And that's one thing that I learned working with Store Purpose, is that the ecosystem and what our maker did is pretty darned impressive. Everything that you see out here has a purpose, or it's doomed for extermination. And not because of me and my little tools here, because these are not anywhere near as capable as what nature has to offer. But wait, what nature does is says, well, I got a plot of land here, and I might need some stability, or otherwise it's going to wash into the ocean, and that's not the way it should work right now. So it'll create a plant like bull thistle. Because if you imagine, what we've done with things like fiberglass to reinforce certain elements, well, bull thistle is sort of like nature's fiberglass. It'll run the fibers through the ground, and those 7-foot roots can pretty much keep an area together, even if the underlying terrain is not very stable. So, although here in my garden, bull thistle is not a welcome entity, elsewhere its purpose is real and valid. And so that's one thing I just wanted to point out today about what we've learned in Store Purpose and how that sort of relates to nature, and something that you can keep in mind. We people, we have some purpose here, and I think that purpose is actually to be a steward of this great land that we have here, this great planet. But in being a steward, we really need to understand the rules that our maker has set up to make this all work. I was a software programmer once upon a time, and I can still dabble every once in a while. I was pretty proud if I had a program. I set up an enterprise system that lasted 10 years at a firm. 20 years is unprecedented because things change. The underlying technology has weaknesses. You find it and you have to throw it out ultimately. The structures that make this earth possible, the basic standards that handle the flow of energy through the system, the life forms, animal with its mitochondrial backbone that powers every cell, plants with their chloroplast backbone that powers every cell, the variation that occurs, that has occurred very purposefully for more than 2 billion years. And let's understand that correctly. There have been life-exterminating events, asteroids that have hit the Earth, giant volcanoes that have blackened the skies for years. The last was about 70,000–80,000 years ago on the Pacific coast of Asia. Those things could have wiped out everything. It could have wiped out most things and left some animals or plants to take over everything. There could have been some super grass that wiped out all the other plants and ultimately wiped out itself. Nature never lets that happen. Nature constantly evolves, changes, balances everything to keep a 2 billion year eco factory working. Once you know the rules of how to make such a system, as is possible by studying store purpose, you must respect that, because it is not a simple thing. There are so many complexities from the various different agents that are needed to communicate amongst the various different entities that are out there that are able to make adjustments to entities. So with store purpose, we as humans can study the rules of the maker of this ecosystem and participate and be a steward, possibly. Because one of the first things you learn when you look at how we as humans are impacting this earth is that we don't know basic rules. You know, basic rules such as if I'm deciding I'm going to live for a couple hundred years like some animals can, well, there can't be as many of me. You know, so, you know, all of nature seems to know, you know, it's like the ABCs of nature. If you're going to live longer, you have to have less offspring. Otherwise, you're going to become one of these invasive species kind of thing. We as humans, in our belief in our maturity, are actually pretty immature in some of the most basic rules of nature. So I think in studying those rules, we can become better citizens of the planet and ultimately become stewards and maybe help out, you know, first of all, where we've messed up by bringing things like this bull thistle into play. So that's my quick words for the day. Hope you have a wonderful day. And this is Warren Jones. Thanks.